that time of month again. It's time to talk about what I will be reading in the month that is upcoming, or has already come. Just depends on when this video comes out. Hello my lovely friends, it's Margaret. Welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be talking about the Avengers Initiative stuff for the month of September. I will also mention a couple of readathons that I am thinking about. Well, I know I'm doing one, but I don't have a set TBR for it at this point, just because it doesn't really need a set TBR. I may or may not be doing the magical readathon for the month of September. If I do end up doing that, I will probably make a separate TBR video or something so that like I can have all of that in one video. So just keep an eye out for that. Maybe a Twitter thread. I'm not entirely sure how I'm going to do this or if I am going to participate in it. Just like I have to see where I am in September. So today I am here mostly to talk about Avengers, but first I do want to mention the Fullmetal Alchemist reading challenge that Sarah is doing over at novel Sarah-ndipity. This month I'm not really going to go with a specific TBR because of how she structured the prompts. If you have read or watched the anime, you would know about the 7 deadly sins. They are one of the main like antagonistic forces in the storyline. Like you get to know more of them. So the way that September's prompts are going to go is there's one for each one, and you're supposed to, you know, kind of read books that cover all of those, or read books that involve all of those. So like we have lust, we have gluttony, greed, sloth, wrath, envy, and pride. And so I will be figuring out, like as I go along this month, what books fit those prompts. I'm planning on finishing my August prompts. So technically I only need to do 4 books to pass September because I can combine. We'll see how that works, but if you really want to know more about this challenge, I definitely encourage you to go check out Sarah's video down below, because I'm not going to be talking about much about like this is the last we're mentioning it, and then I'm moving on to Avengers stuff because that is what I am running. So starting out with the movies that we are going to be watching for the Avengers Initiative reading challenge in our like watch along that we're doing of all of the MCU between First Avenger and Endgame. I had to remember what that first one was. So I am guessing at the dates right now, and I will correct them if I need to in the like I don't know, in the comments or something. But right now the movies that we need to watch are Doctor Strange, which I think is going to end up happening on September 11th, that weekend-ish, and then Black Panther, which will probably end up happening sometime around the 25th. And then our group book for the month of September is The Things She's Seen by Amblin and Ezekiel Quaymolina. This is a story that takes place in Australia, and it is about a girl who is dead, and she's trying to help her father solve, because her dad's a detective, she's trying to help him solve some other murder mysteries that have been happening where they are. I am intrigued by this book. It's a nice short one, which I appreciate because, you know, short books are wonderful. They just help everyone out. Then, as far as the characters that we are releasing are going to go, and I'm only going to go into 2 of them this month. So as per usual, I will be talking about the character that I am not doing first, and then we will talk about the characters that I am doing. We are releasing Nebula in September, and the prompts for Nebula are read a book with professional badass, read a book where strangers team up, read a book with cool toned colors. Nope, read a book with a cover with cool toned colors, so like red, blue, green, the cool side of the rainbow. Read a book with a tortured character, read a book that explores a loss or grief, read a book with a self-sufficient character, read a book with a morally gray character, and read a book with sibling friction. And then the center prompt is to wear something blue or purple. Nebula's power is doppelganger. Duplicate a prompt from Nebula's board to replace a prompt on another board. Now, the prompts that the group book fits on Nebula's board are tortured character and a book that explores loss or grief. Next character that we are releasing this month is going to be the Wasp. I am going to actually be working on Wasp's board. The prompts for Wasp are read a book with a reunion, read a book with an only child, read a book with an overlooked, overshadowed character, read a book with a character with something to prove, read a book with an insect on the cover, read a book that controls nature, flora, or fauna, read a book that takes a while to get into, and read a book with a father-daughter team. The center prompt for this one is tell everyone to buzz off for 1 hour, and that's just basically like turn your phone off and all of that. Just ignore everyone, do some self-care, like for an hour. And then let's see, the Wasp's power is, I can't remember her name for the life of me, so oops. The Wasp's superpower is it takes two. Use a book from Wasp and Ant-Man's board on another board. So you can take a book from Wasp, you can take a book from Ant-Man, and you can use them on another board. Getting into what is going to work for, or what I'm reading for Wasp. So group book is going to cover read a book with an insect on the cover and read a book with a father-daughter team. Then the next book that I'm going to be reading to complete Wasp's board, and this is one that is definitely going to be read because it is the Vault-a-thon book for round 8. That is, spoiler alert, by Olivia Dade. From what I understand, this is about two people. One of them is an actor, one of them is a fan in fandom. Well, they're both in fandom, and he's kind of like secretly in fandom, like undercover in fandom. And so he's an actor for the show, and he's been writing fan fiction, and she is a fan, and she does cosplay, and she writes fan fiction, and something happens where people see her. I think she posts a picture of her dressed up as her favorite character, and like a lot of people like it because it's a plus-size woman doing cosplay, and they're like supportive, and a lot of people, because it's a plus-size woman doing cosplay, are absolute shits about it. So that somehow ends up with them going on a date, and he realizes he likes her, and it's a romance, so it's a romance. Like I said, this is the Vault-a-thon book for round 8. You will have already, if you haven't seen that, I will have it linked up top. It's with the movie and all of that stuff, so ta-da. You know what we're gonna do is we're gonna put these back this way, and then I can move forward. This is probably a mistake. I'm probably gonna run out of room. So spoiler alert is going to come back here. Why would you do this to me while I'm in the middle of filming? Thank you. Spoiler alert is going to complete book with a reunion, book with an only child, book with an overlooked or overshadowed character, and then book with a character that has something to prove. And then to cover controls nature and takes a while to get into, I am going to be reading Rage of Dragons by Evan Winter. I have double checked that there is a control of nature in here, and then also it's a big old thick fantasy. Those usually take a minute for you to really understand what's going on and get into it. So I am buddy reading this with Christine over at the other Christine That Reads. She asked me, she saw I had it, and she asked me if I wanted to buddy read it, and I was like, yes I would. I want to buddy read more books this year. Haven't done really that many of them, so this should be fun. I have no idea what this is about, except it's Game of Thrones meets the Gladiator in an African inspired setting. So I'm sure there are plenty of people that will be expiring in this book because it's a fantasy that's big old thick and there are weapons on the front and also Game of Thrones. But yes, I will be reading this. The next character I will be focusing on this month is the one that shares my name, and that is Agent Margaret Peggy Carter. Yes, we had to, you know, we're in the club, got to show some solidarity for my fellow Margaret. So, Peggy's prompts are: read a book with a mystery, read a book that has a character with confidence, read a book with an inquisitive character, read a feminist story, read a second chance romance, read a book where an element of the cover is red, read a historical fiction, and read a book that features espionage. First off, the group book is going to cover read a book with a mystery and read a book with an inquisitive character. And then I'm also going to be reading The Roses of May by Dot Hutchison. This is the second book in the Collectors series. I am trying to reread the first 3 books so that I can then finally read the last book, and I just know that there's like there is a lot that I'm like, I want to know, like, have the full impact of the last book, and a lot of what the last book is about is sprinkled throughout the books that come before. This is a really fun thriller series about it follows an FBI team as kind of the main character. Each book follows this FBI team, different agent for each book, and then also it focuses on various serial killers that they end up going after through their job. They are the Special Victims Unit, I believe. Like, specifically, they work with children, crimes against children. So it's a heavy series. There is a lot of stuff in it that just be aware of the trigger warnings before you go in. If you are interested, I can give you triggers for the first book and some for this book. I remember a little bit of the third book, and I don't know them for the fourth book yet. But just do your research before going into this, because it is a deeply disturbing series and makes you wonder things about the people I am friends with. This one is going to cover read a book with a feminist story, read a book with an element of red on the cover because we've got the rose and the roses, and then also read a book about a character who has confidence, because I do think that the main character in here has confidence. I can't tell you, maybe a little too much confidence in certain situations. We won't get into that because that's spoilers. So, and then the next book that I am going to be reading is Persuasion by Jane Austen. This is like my second favorite. It's tied with Sense and Sensibility as my second favorite, and then like Sense and Sensibility is tied with Pride and Prejudice as my first. Like, those two can swap sometimes. Long story short, I will be rereading Persuasion. This is about Anne Elliot. She was engaged to someone when she was younger, but her family didn't like the engagement, so they talked her out of it, and then he goes out and he becomes this really big naval hero and comes back, and she's like, I still have feelings for this dude. He probably hates my guts though. So this is awkward. It follows the two of them as they go. So it's got a little bit of a second, obviously it's got a second chance for romance in it. It is also historical fiction, so we'll be doing that. And then the final one is to read a book that has some element of espionage in it. Currently, the plan is to read Fullmetal Alchemist, a volume of Fullmetal Alchemist. I am thinking I might be on volume 5, I might be on volume 6. I'm not entirely sure which one I will be on. If you haven't seen it, there is a review that I have done on this manga series. Go watch it. That tells you what the series is about. It's my favorite manga series of all time. That's not saying much because I've read like maybe 10 manga series, but like I have yet to find one that I love as much as this one. I love the characters as much as I love these characters. So those are the books that I will be reading for the month of September. Feel free to go down in the comments and chat with me about what is the book you are most looking forward to in the month of September. For me, I think it might be Rage of Dragons because there is a buddy read element, and I've been wanting to read this for a long time, and Christine really likes it. So like there is a lot of hype going on, like from people I know, from myself, from what I've heard from other people who have read it. Like, I am so excited and ready to read this book. And it's like been a while since I've read such a like complex looking high, like a high fantasy, like an epic fantasy. I feel like it's just been a while since I have read one of those, so I am really excited for it. If you are not feeling chatty, go ahead and leave me a butterfly in the comments, since the things she's seen has a butterfly on the cover. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. Also, if you enjoyed this video, you can look at all of the other videos that I will have. Well, I say all of the other videos. There's 2 videos over here that you can check out, or playlists or something. If you enjoyed this video and would like to see more of what I do on my channel and would like to support my channel, if you enjoy these videos and you're new here, feel free to hit that subscribe button. That is it for now, my friends. Happy reading, and I will see you later when we will talk about more wordy, nerdy things. Bye!